Good morning, Ajit Kappa. Hope this video finds each of you quarantining well. I just have a few things I'd like to share with you guys just today during this time. So I'm going to read through a few scriptures. If when I give you the scriptures, you just want to pause it and find the scripture yourself, and we can read through it together. So first of all, just I know this is a really crazy time. Every time you go outside, it's just empty. Every time you open up the internet, things are happening. Countries are falling apart. People are kind of ripping other people apart. People's lives are being turned upside down. And it just seems like things are falling apart. So, I'm sure you guys have all noticed this, but I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement in this time. So the first place I would like to turn to is Luke 6:47 to 49. So go ahead and you can pause and turn there. I'll just go ahead and read it. So why do you keep calling me Lord, Lord? When you don't do what I say, I will show you what it's like when someone comes to me, listens to my teaching, and then follows it. It is like a person building a house who digs deep and lays the foundation on solid rock. When the floodwaters rise and break against that house, it stands firm because it is well built. See that in this moment, Christ is claiming that his teaching, his words are a firm foundation, that when the life starts to kind of come up and crash against it, your life is okay. Things will remain. It's not that you're going to be happy, but your life is not going to be kind of destroyed like we see around us. We get a bit of a different perspective on this when we look at Isaiah 28:14 to 17. Isaiah 28:14 to 17. Therefore, listen to this message from the Lord. You scoffing rulers in Jerusalem, you boast. We have struck a bargain to cheat death and have made a deal to dodge the grave. The coming destruction can never touch us, for we have built a strong refuge made of lies and deceptions. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Look, I am placing a foundation stone in Jerusalem, a firm and tested stone. Whoever believes need never be shaken. I will test you with the measuring line of justice and the plumb line of righteousness. Since your refuge is made of lies, a hailstorm will knock it down. Since it is made of deception, a flood will sweep it away. See in these verses that God is coming. He's testing. Our foundations are going to be tested. There's going to be, this verse makes it sound like there's calamities. There's large things that are going to upset a lot of people's lives. They're coming to test us. And those that have a firm foundation, those that are taking and reading and learning from Jesus, they're set. They're prepared for these coming kind of tragedies, these coming trials. But for those of us that are maybe looking and putting our trust into other things, looking at our money. The other day I looked at my savings and I thought, it's a good thing I'm not relying on those, because that's not going well. And there's just a lot of things that we can put our trust in that are falling apart right now. And if my happiness, my joy, if my hope for my future was based in those things, that would be rough. I think we can all kind of feel that. But if you're, let me kind of read that verse again. I think it's in 16. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Look, I am placing a foundation stone in Jerusalem, a firm and tested stone. This is something we can rely on. This is some stone that we can put our trust in, that when things happen, we can hold fast to this stone. Right? This is what Jesus was talking about back in Luke. When we rely on his teachings, then we don't have a whole lot to worry about. We know things are going to end up okay. Finally, I want to look at Acts 4:11 and Ephesians 2:20. So first, Acts 4:11. Where'd that one go? 4:11. And this is one that we just recently went through at church just a few weeks ago. 4:11. Here we go. For Jesus is the one referred to in scriptures where it says, the stone that you builders rejected has now become the cornerstone. So it's not just that Jesus is the foundation. He's the cornerstone. He's the cornerstone from which the foundation gets built. And it's on that foundation that our entire hope and trust is built. So we kind of have this cornerstone, the first stone laid, that kind of decides how everything else about a building is going to get laid out. That one stone decides how the entire house looks. Jesus is that cornerstone, right? In Acts 4:11. And then in, Ephesians 2:20, it says, together, we, his church, the followers of Christ, we are his house. The church is built on the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. That foundation was kind of expanded, and that foundation is the teaching, is the Bible, right? All the teachings that the apostles and the prophets have taught us, that's our foundation. And the cornerstone of that foundation is Jesus Christ himself. So we got to get this beautiful picture that these things that we're learning, these things that we're experiencing, things that we're seeing falling apart around us, whether it's governments, whether it's relationships, whether it's people running out of toilet paper or food. Thankfully, I haven't experienced that here in Turkey yet, but it's all kind of going down the tube. The floodwaters are rising. It's washing away all of these things. And you look back at Isaiah 28. Things are being tested, and for us, we have this firm foundation with Jesus Christ as our cornerstone, this thing that we can stand on, that we can build on, that we can be secure in, we can have a hope in. And when we look out, it still looks scary. When we look out at the world, it still is kind of hard to trust and believe that it's going to be okay. But we get to rely on our firm foundation of these teachings, and we get to look and know that our house, the house of the church, and the foundation that's put on, the teachings of the apostle, and the cornerstone from which all of it came, is Jesus Christ. So as you kind of think about these things, ask yourself, what about my life is shaken? What am I worried about? What am I anxious about? What are the things that I feel like my life is going down? There's a lot about it that just seems like it's falling apart. If you're feeling that, then I think ask yourself, what is that foundation that's crumbled? Because if we have some sort of foundation that is crumbled, then we're going to feel that way. So if you are feeling that way, look, what foundation of yours has crumbled? And I think that's kind of a really, really good thing that foundation is crumbled. I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's great that foundation is crumbled, because now you get to kind of come back and say, Jesus Christ is the foundation. The teachings of the apostles, those are the foundations that I need to be rooted on anyways. I'm glad I'm not on that foundation anymore. It was a false foundation. It was built on lies of security and lies of hope from those things. But now I get to kind of look at the foundation I'm on now, and it's so much more secure. That even when the floods aren't rising, even when kind of trials aren't coming, this foundation is more secure. So I think times like these days, they really reveal what we depend on. And when what we depend on starts to crumble, we are reminded that we need to kind of turn back. We need to turn back to God. We need to talk to him. We need to be communing with him. So I think just take that. Everything that seems like it's going wrong, take that as an opportunity to recognize in your life that you have not in some way depended on God. You have not built your hope and faith and trust in God. Just in that area. And take that as an opportunity to then turn to God and say, hey, I need you in this part of my life. I have been doing this thing. Sorry, I'm kind of looking over, pretending I'm talking to God. I want you to take over this part of my life. I haven't trusted you with it. It's built on this kind of wrong foundation. Please, I want this foundation to be placed on you. I want my life to be, kind of in the house built on your foundation. I hope that's encouraging, guys. I hope you guys stay well. If you are wanting to reach out, please reach out to me or to other people. If you have any needs, I think just definitely come to the church. We want to be there for you. We want to be there for one another. So love you all.